Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel today. Something a little bit different on my workbench today. It's a Sansui amplifier, an AU-D55X. I believe this is sort of from around 1979, 1980, sort of thereabouts. And this one is a little bit sentimental to me as it's my father's amplifier that he had gifted me. So yeah, I was really lucky to receive this with some other stereo equipment that we'll have a look at. Yeah, that's basically a 70 watt per channel amplifier. It's got phono inputs, things like that for a vinyl record player, multiple cassette interfaces, as well as an auxiliary for CD player, etc. like that. It's not a super powerful beast, but it's a pretty nice unit overall. And yeah, produces quite enjoyable sound. But this one does need quite a bit of work. From what I remember, when it warms up it kicks into protection mode, likely due to some cold solder joints or cracked solder joints. With the heat cycles, that's pretty common. There's a serial number on the back. Also, I got given his Bose 601 Series 2 speakers. These do need a bit of repair though, so I'll have to take the drivers out and send them off. But yeah, the drivers, the big subwoofer drivers, all the cones have deteriorated and torn, so yeah. But the speakers themselves still work and they actually still sound pretty good. But yeah, as I said, this stereo equipment, my father bought it all brand new back in the day. Here's our family home here. You can see the stereo equipment set up in the back corner of the house. I think I stole this photo from when they listed the house for sale. This is probably 2002 to 2003. The CD player Dad had paired with it was the CDP 101, which is Sony's first commercial consumer CD player, and that thing was a beast, and it lasted many years. But yeah, today's job is really just to take the thing apart. This has not been powered on in quite a few, years actually. I think I last used this thing when they had it set up in a house, probably around 2009, maybe 8. So yeah, it hasn't been used for a very long time. And the usual caveats apply, you gotta watch out for capacitors not discharged and things like that. You can get a nasty shock off these things. But I've never repaired an amplifier, but I've seen a lot of 12 volt videos, and to be honest, it can't be too bad. I've taken it outside and given it a good clean. By cleaning, I mean just an air dusting. And I had a bit of a visual inspection around some nice Japanese Nichicon capacitors. They haven't leaked and they still seem to work, and to be honest, these early 80s / very late 70s capacitors are generally pretty good from what I understand, so I'm not going to bother recapping it. No sign of leakage. But of course, if there's a problem, I'll take it apart. And these things, of course, being from the era where they're designed to be serviced, there's just a couple of screws and we can get into the bottom cover as well to access the bottom circuit boards and just check over the joints. Because, as I said, when it warms up, that's when the stereo protection kicks in and basically shuts the amplifier off. But you could get a few minutes of easy listening. And straight away you can see there on that left hand side circuit board a dark patch. Typically that involves heat, and where there's heat there's cooling and contraction, which involves, as you can see here, cracked joints. These have got a little circle around the vias and the leg of whatever voltage regulator and stuff is in the board there. So what I'm going to do is just have a look over it. I like to mark off with a permanent marker just sort of key areas around the board that I visually see, but I'm pretty much going to go over the whole boards, all of them, and just touch up a good majority of the joints. I think I did about 80% of them. Some of them clearly were fine and looked well wetted. So especially voltage regulators, things get hot. We definitely want to make sure. So yeah, sit back and relax. There's going to be a lot of soldering, and we'll see how we get on. So with all the joints fixed up, it's really just time to put the bottom cover back on the unit. It's nothing too crazy. It was overall actually very accessible and easy to work on it. Something I kind of miss in some electronics. Yeah, we take it for granted, but serviceability is a real thing in these. But yeah, as I said, you know, it's I'm pretty sure this is all it needs. I'm actually putting it fully back together before testing because I'm hedging my bet that it was just those cracked joints. When I last used this, probably about 17 years ago or maybe more, it literally was working fine. As I said, once it warmed up, it would trip the protection button light, which is just above the power button. So we're going to give it a smoke test, and this is genuinely the first time it's been powered on since 08 or 09, so that is all normal. Engages the protection, locks on solid, and yeah, it looks like we are in for a winner. So we're going to move on to the next bit of stereo equipment at this point. But I love the vacuum fluorescent display that these old amplifiers have. The control knobs are all metal as well. Super nice feeling amplifier. So in the pile of stuff, I got the CD player that Dad had with the amplifier. This is a newer unit, sadly the Sony one. I think it died around 2004 or 5. And so we've got this NAD C515BEE unit. From what I understand, these are kind of an entry level unit. It does feel a bit plasticky inside, but hey, it's a decent CD player overall. So I'm going to put some silicone grease on the rails, because from what I remember, the CD player, he bought it new and it would skip CDs every now and then. And I think it may have been due to lack of lubrication on the rail, as the head mechanism would jump forward as it get jammed. They are supposed to move in a smooth linear fashion very slowly, so anything that's sticking on a CD mechanism, it's going to jump and skip and cause all sorts of weird issues. So if you're having CD skipping issues, make sure your rails are clean and lubricated, and sometimes that's all they need. So I'm going to throw a disc in here, and it's something I picked up in my last trip up to Christchurch. Poor Tim, I dragged him around the music store, mate of mine, and I bought up a bunch of CDs, and this is one of them. It's one of the favourite albums I've got on the go at the moment, Rolling Stones, and we're just going to make sure that the disc is read and that I can skip the tracks, and the seek time to read the disc isn't too long, but yeah, looking at that, it's pretty good. I like to exercise the mechanism by moving the heads back and forth a fair bit on the rails, just to make sure that they're all free and they're moving. And yeah, this one seems to be working good as gold. So at this point, I'm pretty much going to put it back together, and yeah, we can move on really. Well, at this point, I'm happy that I've achieved everything I wanted to this weekend, getting the gear all out of its hibernation and tested. Started playing a CD. Kind of a sadly an underrated Bryan Adams soundtrack there. But yeah, I've been listening to this thing for a couple of weeks now at this point. It's all working good as gold. I still need to give it a clean in this video. Yeah, but I'll take those drivers out as well. Need to get them sent away for a cone refurb. But yeah, that's it guys. If you have a bit of equipment like this that has a protection kick-in or an intermittent fault, check those joints. You might find that they're cracked. Alrighty everyone, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.